Hello, whisperers. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy tonight's tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps more than you know. Now, dim the lights, and let's begin tonight's story. You live long enough in South London, and you stop noticing the noise. The double-deckers grumbling past Lambeth Road, the foxes screaming behind bins, trains shuddering under Vauxhall. It all becomes one steady heartbeat. Most nights I cut through Kennington Park, the one stretch of green that still feels half wild after dark. The old gas lamps throw halos on the path, their glow swallowed by drizzle. You can almost imagine how it looked 2 centuries ago, before the new flats went up, back when stories traveled faster than sense. That's where the first reports came from. Battersea, Clapham, Lambeth. 1837, maybe 38. A figure dressed like a gentleman, black coat, high collar, eyes like burning coals. He'd leap fences, clear rooftops, leave claw marks on brick, then vanish into fog thick enough to choke on. They called him Spring-Heeled Jack. I wasn't researching ghosts. I was archiving Victorian police ledgers for a university project, scanning old pages, tagging keywords, mostly dull crimes, pickpockets, horse theft, unpaid tavern debts. Then I opened a file stamped Public Disturbance, 1838. Inside were first-hand accounts. A girl in Clapham Common claiming a man spat blue fire in her face. Another in Battersea Rise who said he bounded over her gate in a single leap. One constable's note read, "Moved as if spring fitted." It made me laugh. The handwriting was shaky, the ink smeared where someone's hand must have trembled. But come on, blue fire, springs in his boots. It sounded like early pulp fiction. I mentioned it to a coworker over instant coffee in the archive break room. She rolled her eyes. "Every borough's got its monster," she said. That night I wrote a post for my blog. The Batman of 1838, London's first rooftop vigilante. Mostly jokes. Victorians invent Spider-Man, that sort of thing. I scheduled it, shut the laptop and forgot about it until the comments started rolling in. Still seen near Clapham North. He lands on roofs. Listen after midnight. Not a myth. Locals call him the roof tapper. The phrasing got under my skin. Roof tapper. I'd never heard that before. It was past 1 when I left the office. The city had gone quiet. Just rain hissing off street lamps and that faint electrical hum that rides under everything. I turned down Lambeth Walk, past the terrace houses with iron railings, their chimneys leaning like drunks. Then I heard it. Clang, metal on slate, quick, sharp, deliberate. I froze, looked up. Nothing but drizzle and black sky. I told myself it was a cat knocking something loose, or one of those old TV aerials swaying in the wind. But the sound wasn't above me anymore. It was further down, hopping rooftops like something testing the tiles. When I got home, I realized my phone had been recording. Background ambience for a podcast project. I played it back out of curiosity. There it was, the city murmur, my footsteps, then that same clang. Only on the recording, it was louder, closer. Right after the impact came a sound I didn't remember hearing. A long, wet inhale, like someone drawing breath through smoke. The timestamp made no sense. It wasn't from my walk home. It was recorded 3 hours earlier while I was still in the archives. The first night I heard it, I told myself it was nothing. Second night, I didn't bother lying. It started the same way, a metallic clang rolling across the roof like someone dragging a crowbar. The sound rattled the window panes, then stopped, hanging in the air as if the city itself were holding its breath. I leaned out the sash window. Below, Lambeth Walk was empty, rain slicking the cobblestones to mirror the streetlight. Above, the sky was just black cloud swallowing every star. Nothing moved. Then, another impact. Heavier, closer. I ducked back, heart punching my throat. It had come from directly overhead, right above my flat. You don't think about how thin a ceiling is until something lands on it. The noise didn't fade away. It paced. 3 steps, slow, measured, each ending with that metallic note. I crept through the sitting room, trying not to breathe. Old pipes groaned, floorboards sighed, everything in the place suddenly alive. I told myself it was just thermal expansion, wind pressure, anything that sounded scientific. Then came the scratch, not the soft scuff of branches, a long, deliberate scrape, like claws testing the grain of the wood. I grabbed my phone, thumb shaking across the screen, started recording, but the sound stopped the instant I hit start. Silence swallowed everything. No traffic, no rain, not even foxes. Just that thick, muffled stillness you get inside a dream. I waited. 1 minute. 2. And then something breathed above the chimney. A hiss sliding into a laugh. The air in the room changed. Hot, chemical, like the sting of burnt metal. I stumbled back, eyes watering. For a moment the hearth flickered blue, a thin lick of fire curling out where no flame should be. It was gone before I could blink. When I finally looked up, soot had dusted the rug, a print 1/2 meter long, sharp at the toes, pressed deep as if by weight, far heavier than a man's. I didn't sleep. I sat by the door with the lights on, scrolling through every thread, every old forum post about him. The pattern came together slowly. 3 nights, that's how long he stays. First night, the tap. Second, the scratch. Third, they never finish that sentence. By dawn, I'd mapped the reports across a digital overlay of South London. Lambeth, Clapham, Battersea, the points connected into a crooked triangle. And right at the center sat my street. I wanted to tell myself coincidence. I really did. But at 5:42 a.m., my phone buzzed with a new comment on the blog. Don't stay in the same place 3 nights in a row. He lands where you sleep, and underneath it, a time-stamped photo. My own building, shot from street level. Looked fresh, Last night, judging by the wet pavement, and up on the roof line, half lost in fog, was a figure in a long coat, bent forward, watching. I never planned to stay that third night. I told myself I'd crash at a mate's or catch a cheap hotel near Waterloo, but when the rain started again, I just didn't move. Something about leaving felt worse, like stepping out would make me easier to find. So I stayed, told myself if I heard it again, I'd record it properly this time. Evidence, something real. The city outside was dead quiet. Even the buses had stopped growling through Lambeth Road. Just the drip of rain and the tick of the wall clock. Then, clang. My gut clenched. It was quieter this time, but heavier, as if the weight knew exactly where to land. Another clang, closer. Then one more, right above the skylight. Glass trembled. Dust fell from the rafters. I backed toward the door, phone held out like it mattered. The recorder was running. The red light blinked. Through the ceiling, I heard footsteps, steady, pacing. They stopped. The chimney moaned. Air hissed out of it, dry and thin, followed by a laugh that didn't sound human. Then came the heat. A line of soot split open down the hearth, and a thin tongue of blue flame licked through, lighting the room in flickering ghost light. It cast long shadows up the walls, each one bending the wrong way. And then he spoke. A voice like iron dragged across stone. "You still doubt me?" I didn't answer. Couldn't. The chimney flared, bricks cracked outward, and from the smoke something stepped through. Not climbed, not crawled, just arrived. He was taller than I'd imagined. The coat hung like it belonged to gravity, but his body didn't. Eyes red as coals, mouth curling in a smile too wide, and every breath shimmered with that same blue fire I'd read about in the reports. When he exhaled, the air hissed and burned the floorboards black. He moved toward me in sharp jerks, like each step was a decision. Boots struck the floor with that familiar clang, claws trailing faint sparks where they scraped the wood. I backed into the hallway, fumbling for the front door, but every step I took he matched. Slow, rhythmic, mocking. My hand hit the knob. I yanked. Nothing. The metal was hot, branding my palm, and when I looked down, my skin had blistered in the shape of 5 fingers that weren't mine. 3 nights, he whispered. You've called me long enough. I dropped the phone. The recording kept rolling. I saw the red light blink once, twice, before it cut out. The last thing I remember is the roof shattering above me, tiles and soot and light all exploding outward, and his laugh echoing down the street, metal grinding on stone. When I woke, the flat was quiet, cold. The police said the fire must have started from a faulty flue. No one believes me about the footprints burned into the ceiling, the ones that lead downward, not up. It's been 3 nights since then. I moved across the river. New place, new job. I keep telling myself it's over. But just now, somewhere above the rain, I heard it again. Clang.